Welcome back to part 6 of the Fishing Tackle 101 series. This time we're going to talk about fishing what works. That seems pretty self-explanatory, but sometimes you got to get past some thoughts when it comes to fishing. So I'm sure we've all been out there before where we showed up with our buddies in the morning and we've really thought this thing through, and we've looked at the water clarity and we've looked at the weather conditions, and we've thought about the time of year it is and where we think the bait fish are going to be, whatever the case, and we've come up with the perfect lure to begin with, a perfect lure to in the right color, the right time. It's the perfect time of the year for this particular lure. And we've even thought about the line size and the reel and the rod, and we're pretty sure we've got it narrowed down to what we need to start with. And very possibly we're going to fish with that all day long because we just know that it's going to work. And a couple of our buddies have got similar thought processes, maybe a little different, but they are logical and they make sense. And then our other friend shows up, and he's got like a pink marabou jig, and that just does not match the conditions. It doesn't match the hatch. It doesn't match the water clarity. It's not the right time of the year for that. What's this guy thinking? This guy is crazy. So we kind of scoff at him, Okay, more fish for me. So we get to fishing. I'm getting a couple bites. My buddy actually caught a little one over there. Oh, look, our friend with the pink marabou jig just caught the first fish. Wow. Okay, great. Enjoy it while it lasts. We get to fishing a little bit more. All of a sudden that guy catches another one. Wow. Well, that's kind of weird. Anyway, go back to fishing. I finally get a little fish, a couple bites from different people, and then all of a sudden, pink marabou jig guy catches a big monster. Really? And so then the first thought crosses our mind. I really want to ask him if he's got more of those because I don't have any. I wouldn't have brought that today. That's the wrong lure to be using today. But man, it seems to be working. And then our friend, who's a good friend, says, "Hey, you guys want some of these? I've got a whole box of them. You guys can have some." One of your friends is like, "Yeah, sure." And he starts taking them, and you're like, and you're stubborn. You say, "No, that's the wrong lure. Any imbecile knows that lure is not going to work today." So you refuse, and another friend refuses. And then now the two people catching fish are the two people using those pink jigs. And so then finally you say, "Yeah, sure, I'll try one." And then you start catching fish. And then now all four of us are using pink marabou jigs. We're all catching fish. We have a blast. So moral of the story is, some days, as much thought as you've put into it, and even though it defies the fishing theory you have and the logic you've come up with, fish what works. So a lot of what I've been telling you in this series is to try and simplify things and break things down so you have a good estimation of what you should do and the type of lures and colors and things that you should work with. But sometimes you just got to go with what works. And sometimes we just look at a bait and we just know as soon as we look at it, that's stupid. The first time I saw a Zaraspook, I immediately knew it was a bad lure. No, it doesn't have any little tail feathers. It doesn't pop. It doesn't have a propeller in the back. It just looks stupid. It looks like a kindergartner drew this. I mean, it's just, the shape of it's so simple. This is a stupid lure. Throw that to the side. Let's get something that works. And then you watch a YouTube video, and this guy's just catching monster smallmouth bass after monster smallmouth bass. And then he finally, because you've been dying to know what he's using, he finally shows you it's a Zaraspook. And it's even the color that you saw that you thought was stupid. So then you say, okay, I was wrong about that. And then you see, well, you actually use worms. You've used paddle tail worms and curly tail worms, and you've had luck with worms, and you've Texas rigged them, and you've Carolina rigged them, and you've fished them in several different ways. And then you see this worm, and you're thinking that's too fat. It's just no, it's not. It is not going to work. And then you see the way someone's fishing them. They're putting a little hook right in the middle. They're what they call wacky rigging. They're put a hook in the middle and just let it go down, and then pop it up and let it go down. Just a hook, and they're just taking it, putting a hook in the middle, and just throwing it out there. What a stupid design. What kind of idiot would fish like that? And by the way, this thing has no movement. Why doesn't it have a curly tail on the back so as it moves through the water it can make some commotion? I mean, this thing just sits there. And this particular one is a yum dinger, but the Cinco might be the most popular soft plastic lure in the world. And it's a guaranteed fish catcher. And wacky rigging is a great way to catch fish. And so you realize, I was wrong. The first time I saw a buzzbait, I thought, what in the world? It's a big piece of metal. I was used to very small hooks because you got to get it in the bluegill, in the mouth of the bluegill. Super subtle, finesse, natural presentation. Started getting into bass fishing, and I heard about people using buzzbaits. And my first thought when I saw a skirt was, how stupid. Bass are too smart for that. Bass know good and well that this isn't real. It's just still strands. Skirts are stupid. And this thing, just a big piece of metal. A bass is going to know that's a big piece of metal. This is the dumbest lure I've ever seen. Fast forward to right now. This is my favorite lure of all time, the buzzbait. And skirts are phenomenal. Skirts, whether they're on bass jigs, spinner baits, or buzz baits, are great lures. And even if it's just an amplifier, like I've talked about, and you're using some kind of trailer or some kind of soft plastic body, it's just a great amplifier. I was wrong. So sometimes you have like an unconscious bias. You just see something and then you just think, that's not going to work. The fish tell you otherwise. And sometimes you're out there and you've got a great plan and your plan doesn't work. So the fish are telling you otherwise. So this is common sense. But let me just tell you that if you're out there and you see people catching fish with the lure, it works. Don't overthink it. So that's all for today. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.